long time ago.
There was a man.
With his horse.
It exists a kind of starting point, but it exists some things to say before. And before exists a kind of interesting and ethnographical and philosophical phenomena. So I start to collect photographs, information, books, and so on, to make research in ethnographical and philosophical thinkings. So in this moment I learned a kind of how to collect and how you order this collect material in a system, but this system should be not the same, looks like in the scientist, and then anyway in this should be a coming out of the material by themselves. So it was the beginning. And the beginning have some material, so basically it was in one way books, books clear, and texts and so on. In another way photographs. I made a very special research till now. What is on an image? What is the image? And what has happened with people to look to an image and then to see some things printed, or I don't find a solution really till now. Until now I have to collect photos. And the third one was very interesting, was objects. And I start with objects. What's this on the table? It looks like this situation. It was 1979. I was sitting on a table. How are these things? Look this. And what's this between? And yeah, it was training. And from this beginning started a project called The Paradise, and still exists now by the exhibition Michael done it some years ago. Was the basement was objects on the table, but then the table was the beginning, and then gone to shelves, looks like this. But I get my money to work in this factory to bring these shelves together, to work. Get money for this and so on. It was clear I have to use it in art too. Yes, that was also that. And the fourth, and this is the important point, what I saw was maybe the earliest point for all. It was a question, what has happened between the people? And it was one question, very special, going through this all way. You have a gallery and invited people to make exhibitions or so on. But I had a very special question, and this question was, when people speak with me, and the talk going in a very clear and in a deep way, a future of thinking, a future of a complete different world was, I saw in the people in the head, and what to say, a very special things, that yes, it's in this way, to live in this way, how to do it, how. But when I look to the art, what the people done, I don't saw it. This was one of the big questions I had in 1981. And that how to present this question in a way the communication between the people to understand this and to develop some things. No? It was the time to make the council, and the council was to invite 40 artists. Most of them was meeting before in the exhibition space I had in Hamburg and so. And please. Yeah, go to
Why?
Why?
I invited most of these people in this way to that, okay, when we spoke together, you said this and this, but what is now? Go on. And then we met the council. It was 1 month meeting every day, 24 hours. So it was really a continuing movement. Some people going in the morning 5, 6 in bed, the others get up. And we had, looks like a little bit now here, we rent a lot of different places where people can sleep, and we have a house there. And so it was a complete strong meeting, and all times, each day was a question. Around 6, when we meet together. Now, tell me what you've done. Tell me what you think and how you realize this. And the other way was very, very important was somebody done some things and speak about it, but the others invited, said, okay, there's some problems. How we can show this problem, what you taught. For example, a wonderful example is somebody want to make this English word is to make a bank. So he print money by himself as a copy and so on, and then we organized him to present in our own house, not in a house, but in a space in the house. And this was before our office, and this office was also a kind of, how it calls, treasure. And so he got out to make the bank. No? And he started working, and then they said, okay, in this evening we make opening. And I invite you all come to my bank, and then next morning, 9 o'clock, I will work as bankier. So, okay, we come to this evening, and we are looking how you make the money, how you make the papers, what you write down. And we saw a lot of problems. What we done with him, he drank wine, and he loved to drink wine. And a friend, an invited artist for this council, and we make him drunk. And then we leave all this. And the next day, 6 o'clock, when we ask, what is your day today to make the bank? They said, people have stolen all my material. So we have stolen him, his material. And so want to see how is he in a clear way. They said, when somebody stole your wealth, you go to the police. No, like, why not? You have your bank, you have your material, somebody stole, you have to go to the bank. Anybody make it, why you not? And so we found this relation between here and doing. And this was the general research we done it in the council. And in the end, we had after 3 weeks, we had a question how we what we're doing with material coming out is the whole month, and it was clear, no catalogue, no. what? And the people said, okay, we need this material for the next meeting. That's what's clear. We meet again, to develop so many points that coming out from the discussion and beginning of some, how we can work it in this way, how we can find systems to do this and so on. Okay, we make a box, a transportable box, and put all the material in and bring it to the next meeting. We had a little bit the idea about the Jewish people, Moses with a black box, going through the desert, and the desert was like the cultural situation of contemporary art in Germany. So it was a desert, and we have to go through this with this box and meet. We done it. The next meeting was 1982, and so on. And for me it was clear, they said, okay, we make a box. And the question, who will do it? No? We was looking, 40 people or 50 or 60 people looking. No? And what done the people? They looked to me. You invited us. You. So I have to build up a black box. It was really wooden, black. And it was only in this, you can open it this way. And you can play it with
Bubbles.
bubbles.
There's a video from the
It's a
archive.
wonderful how to
Bubbles
use
are
an
coming out of
archive.
the archive.
How to use it like bubbles. Okay, yeah, this was, and for me it was clear. I don't want to be an archive. We don't speak about archive in this time. It was only the Black Kit, the name of this till now, and to transport it from beginning to end. And then starting to growing. So from meeting to meeting, growing, and then people sent me material and said, I think this have to be in this box and that is Abi Warburg. He said it, gute Nachbarschaft.
Good neighborhood.
Good neighborhood from the material. This is a very, very important point, how is a good neighborhood, yeah. And so it's coming material in, and then it's going up, and maybe after 8, 10 years, it was 6 or 7 of these shelves, and the next step was very important to make the break from the Black Kit, to have the name, Black Kit is a name, but to say also it is a performance archive, was in the 1994, around this time. A lot of people speak about performance art. Very often I ask, what is this? The people that, long stories, fairy tales. Really fairy tale, but what is performance? And then I came of the idea, we have to make a context about how people use the name performance for what. Then it was the next step to say how an archive can generate knowledge. So in this moment it's changed really. What's coming out from the archive is knowledge, and I found a wonderful guy, he's Gerhard Dirmoser. He's working with, the name is Informatik and so on. And so we made this, it needs 6 years to make a diagram about 160 definition of performance with different artists to define then, oh yes, my performance has to do with psychological phenomena in this and this way. So they get a field in the context and so on. So we made this diagram of the context And it was the archives then. Really, when we start to think about as a researcher and as developer and in a stringent way of it was not only for short people, sondern worldwide. Should be really that okay, when we try how wide we can do it. That's the relict of this. So it's a little bit about the beginning.
Yes, and something you haven't mentioned is that I think one starting point was thinking about terms. I think in the council it was very important that they discussed about terms. One very important term was tool. Another important term was landscape and panorama or something like that. So they had terms where they were working on, and that is a stringent theme of this archive as well.
Yeah.
First there were the terms, and then there were the persons.
I don't know, you can say it in this way. But 1972 I met a wonderful guy and he wrote a book, Shape of Time. And in Shape of Time he defined what is really in the time. But that we are not able to say what is in this world that's going on from day to day. It's going on as a kind of the same time, it's the same moment. You can't say it is first or last, it is going on. And then when you make a cut and look to this, what was the cut, you see some things and say, this is in the moment, for example, how the people dress, and it is now this way. It's how to make the furniture is this way, and how is the contemporary art is this way, and so on. This way of thinking was for me, Georg Kubler. This was very, very important that, okay, it is not allowed to make a hierarchy way, you have to say it exists so a wide world, but you can make only from interest to bring this more and more. And my interest in more, for example, in terms, and I started with terms, I think in the 70s, early 70s, I started terms. And also my problems with language, I was legasthenic in the young, I don't want to speak German. I hate how people say me some things. So I don't want to learn German. So I have to learn later. I said, you have to learn German. You have to learn a little bit more English. And I started to Wittgenstein. And 1 year I read Wittgenstein to understand a little bit how to use a term. That's good. That's coming next step to the council and so on. But at the same time I had the paradise with objects. You can't say anything what this is really. We have nothing in our terms, nothing to say what is this really. We gave them the name from the function there, but it's more as a function. This is what I mean with ethnographical and all these philosophical phenomena. So it was bubble, a very important bubble till now.
I have a question about terms, or also about the name, because it's called Black Kit, the archive. And first we talked about the box, then in German we talk about the drawer, a Lade, and then it's a kit. Can you say a bit more about these terms or how it became a...
The Black Kit is, it was with this box we planned 1981 in the council. Should have the name Black Kit, Schwarze Lade, and the Lade is a different kit, you can say box something, but in German Lade it means Moses. Moses, it was very important
from the Bible.
From the Bible.
the old
Yeah,
Jewish
you said,
history.
you talked about
Yes,
this before, but I
the old
didn't
Jewish
really,
history.
It means this thing, and why they put it 40 years to people, four people was holding this box and going from day to day when they're walking through the desert to have this box with me, with this Lade.
Die
Schwarze Lade,
Schwarze
sie was,
Lade,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so
So
this comes from...
This coming from
Because
their
from
The
thinking.
Jews had to travel
Yeah.
to the desert,
yeah.
and the most holy things were in this kit, were in this lade. So it was the
Okay.
most important thing to get it with you through time, different places, and to have it with you.
And from the other side coming boxes. George Brecht.
And it was two black shelves were put together, and that is Black Kit because they have been black. So that's why the name came up.
I can say a big story, I don't want to do it, but I can say why black. This is also a history going on. I had a dream, and this dream was very interesting. I'm walking in a meadow, and I see all times water. Water's going on, and I'm walking in that, and I looked to the water that's going. It was so much small creeks going all on, and I know I have to go there. But only to know it is right or not right. So then I was coming, and then coming these creeks more and more to rivers. And this was, so it is coming from the many things where we're only open to what's interested, how it is coming step by step. Questions, for example, what is with the objects? And the different to term, why exists this difference, and in the big history of culture exists this difference, and so on. So this is very early. I read the book Black, from Monet to Picasso, from Max Raphael. It was so a wonderful way to read about black, how people use black, how they look to black, and so on. And what was very important was also Fluxus, George Brecht, he made some wonderful boxes. Till now I love like boxes. Yeah. Big one, small one, and so on.
But perhaps you could say something about the structure today and the structure of the archive.
The structure of archive.
Of this archive, so
Yeah.
what's collected here, and what are the main aspects, or what is focused on?
Yeah. What I want to do, but it is impossible for me, about some pressure of the normal structures. I want to have all material in good neighborhood. And it needs a complete different way to make it. But it's just my personal interest. But when people are coming, and this was long time, it was clear, people can come, I have to look what you have in this and that, can you say this? So it needs a kind of organization in a very simple way. It means boxes with name, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, all this. So I have to make this in this to have an order inside. And this order is based, you can say, by the name of the artist. This was one very important, how we don't stand by? One standpoint, yeah, standpoint.
Fundament.
Fundament,
Oh.
Bein. Black?
Black.
Nein. Okay, it is the names. So good. Maybe I have 6,000 or 7,000 artists are here. In the parallel, I have in the computer more than 6,000 names, part of this and part of only to know it exists, but I have no material. But I want to say, look how many artists coming out and are in this way, and then coming the first, how many working with fire, how many working with water, how many working in this way, and so exists some strong thinkings about, for example, upside down. Artists like to hang upside down. And people say, after the first one done it, we don't need it anymore. No? But it is interesting to have 10, 15, 20 different positions to hanging upside down as a performance. And to see the difference, to see really the difference, what's going on, and to accept it. And this is so very important, and that's why it is very important to have different names, different, to have it, to say, okay, it's possible to go there and to find. So this is one important stand, the names. So this is, the second is the organization, institution, and I have information about classical institution, gallery, museum and so on, but it was coming from my political time, when I had a political life. For me it was more interesting how people make self-organization, how made, it was in the 70s, very, very important to organize yourself. You don't need a museum, don't need a gallery and so on, so you organize, you have to organize the meetings with the people you need now and how you bring it together and how is this form to come together in a very clear way of the situation. And you can not put this from meeting to meeting or from something, so it is all times moving in a process and so on. And this was more interesting to find so artists, groups of people to working in some way, on the other in another way, and then the next step was clear network. So we started with thinking about network in the 80s, early 80s, about the different form of organization and how, but it's the culture situation coming out of this was completely different than the classical way we done it all time in German. The people say is, we done it for every time, now we have to do it again. But it was within, so I made really to look worldwide how people organize. As an artist, this group or and the same was the next, what is a group? This, to think about this is all together. How coming people together to be so free, don't need any other person over them, and to be free from all the shit. For example, I met so many groups now, and it was so a big fight. How to, I know how to do it. Well, I want to know that I can say, but I hope to can say that it's a group Black Market, but it's not a group, it's an association. No, it's not an association. What it is performance artists, female, male, to coming together to say, come on, we made it 8 hours. Look what's going on with us. And that was. After this, and function till now, we had Black Market some 2 weeks or 3 weeks here. free of all this, but it's not easy to say, okay, it exists some free things. My question was really to understand what you have to do to make an organization, to bring people together, how you make it. It is so open and so in a way outcoming. I don't like the word future, but it means future. Well, maybe some things behind the future once more. Hannah Arendt said to be a human between human. That's a wonderful sentence. In this way, I was looking what I get, and I found material and sometimes very, very good situation where people working together and so on. So this is a second standing step. Interesting was this to learn by myself, to learn how bring people together. The paradise with objects was really helpful. But it's coming objects together, they said no, doesn't function. It's the same between people, no, this person I don't like, no. But it's mistake. It is possible. It's a different position of person to bring it together that we go in there. Now, for my opinion, it's also in performance. I saw important points in performance is audience or audience doesn't exist. Observer, standing. And when the performance going well, both are together in this direction, without to know what, but how you make the energy so it's going on. So in this moment was the 30 years working with Paradise. You see with the objects coming more and more in relation and so on. And the organizing after the council. Each year I have organized some things. Till now it's So you see it's together the objects and the human being. Good. Third step, standing. Fourth, five. Third is I call it material. But it is not enough to say material. But for example, it exists, and this is maybe a little bit of ethnographical stand. What is with religion? What is with politics? What is it? And which politics is maybe more interesting to have it as information than others. So I have on the politics clear, I have more about the left wing of thinking. From the right, I have only the shit coming out. This is, for example, this about death and this Gewalt.
Terror.
Violence.
Yeah. Violence. All the shit thing with people doing other people. So, kill and so on. So it's good to have it also. And the others, what has happened with the elements, people working with water, with air or so on. Or other things is about share, tables. And sometimes some projects coming out from this collection of material to say, could it possible to make this? About architecture. You can say the third part, a little bit included history of performance art. So, for example, Fluxus or Dada, or maybe some things before. This is also to find this. But this material is, yeah. But people like to look. But this is very important to make of the good neighborhood. That's neat. Yeah. Then organization, different organization, then black market, cooperation. So many different fields, but mostly together with them. And the fourth is all the big things there. It's relicts from performance, presence, and so on. With all there. And the fourth stand. The fourth stand is the computer. But in the computer is in all the different hard disks exist there, and so it's maybe the double of material looks like here, only in computer. So, for example, more name, more institution, and but also look for example by institution to make a very good list, also to make lists like very much. To have a big list, it exists maybe 300 of organizations which organize performance art in the world. This is a very important point that I don't speak about, but it is very special, is a very interesting point, is what is public? Public. Public is but what we don't we speak all the time about public to make sculptures or anything performance outside, but the public is coming more and more less. It is the dictatorship of the society to put public out. But it's coming more and more people that it's smile. But my really beginning in '66 was to go in a public space and say, here I am, and start to speak with people and to say, all what is going on, I don't want this way. I don't know how I have to go where. But I have to stay in public space, to speak with people, and I occupied this place, and that I have the right to be here. And this is a fundamental phenomenon. Hannah Arendt, for example, she wrote in her book Vita Activa, also for the Agora. People living in a special way, normal, they make work outside, the landscape and everything. But when they're coming in the Agora, in this moments, they are human. Okay, it was a Greece. But some things of this feeling to go in a public is to be real between people, human between human. And how you define these places where you find and can say, now I'm here, and you have the feeling, really the feeling you are in a very special atmosphere in the space with all the together, and don't want to stay outside somewhere. But it's just clear you're all time outside, walking, doing from here to here and to shopping and so on. But what it means to go in this space, in the public, and you have really the feeling you are now between people. And to understand the human. Performance art is helpful, very helpful. Why I like it most of the other art forms to do this. And that is all
I have a question. In the beginning you said it changed, like dictatorship with the public. Can you explain it closer to me? Because is it the society change that's for you it's so different now to perform in public, or do you mean something else? I think I didn't understood it.
Now we have to discuss about communism and socialism and then democracy and so on. This is the whole field.
Yeah.
But it exists a wonderful book. One man wrote a book, Max Raphael, with one question. And this question is, and that's I like very much, what has happened when somebody living of the world and have never heard some things about society, never heard something about democracy, communism, and only so, and you ask this person of the, hey, have you a feeling, what is your right to be here? A wonderful question, really a wonderful question. And he start to find out why many people don't have read anything about the different about right and left wings and so on, have interesting to have this and this. And so exists coming out the different ways. Communism is coming out, and different way of socialism the last 2000 years, and so on. And how it was broken. Broken is, for example, from my opinion, we have no democracy. We have really no democracy. And this is a problem. It's really a problem to understand. But people said, I feel me good, free, I'm happy. But all the pressure of your life, all the pressure of your money, all of the pressure, you have to do this, you have to organize with people, you have this and this communication form. It's all a very strong pressure. And where is the wonderful people a little bit here? Up.
Yeah, outside the society.
Yeah. And when you go on the street, I know, I started in the 60s to be on the street. Yeah. What we get was fight. After 9 months, the police and all the people have broken us. We have to leave this place. But the police and all the people are stronger. Right? They have the police said, you come tomorrow morning with chemical to put on when we sleep on the street. And that is when, I remember in the last 10, 20 years when I make workshops and go with the people on the street. No, it's not a lot, it's mine. No? We made an escalator performance with children, the round was escalators and children, so, and two from Hannover, Christiane Oppermann and her girlfriend in this time, they made a wonderful performance with the escalator and put the children. And then it was so funny how it's going on. And was people, it's stop, it's not allowed, this is this and this factory have the right of this place. And this place coming, what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We have left and left. You go off the street, you mean you are free, you know? But any step in the mud is this place is from this house, you know? And so on. So this is, I'm not really to say it's nice system what you have. But we have to fight for
Yeah,
this.
I just wanted to say you have to
Yeah,
fight
we have
for
to
it
fight for
every day.
this.
Yeah,
It's good. Yes, this was what Brian and in Belfast with Bibi joined, what we done. We fight for it. The people come, it's not allowed. And we said, yeah, it is allowed, you stay here in the same place where but it is different. You stay only and you will say what is right, and I stay and make this. Okay. Next.
I had also questions. Like I was curious how the council ended after these 40 days. You decided before that was 40 days, or you just in one moment you decided it was the end, and how you were after that different?
Yeah, it exists a story about this. I don't want to tell the story again, it's the last time I would tell. But I got some things, very important things, for me very important, of understanding. Normally it's 30 days, then it was finished, people have to leave. But what for me was very important, I feel me really in a new space. I call this atmospheric space, a very special situation, but I had the feeling, now I know what I have to do, and I have to do it. And this is what I'm here, and to create as a European, to create, I got so many information, what we have to do, and to find the right English
Direction.
It's forms, but form is not a good name, es gibt nur ein anderes Wort. But a kind of how you present this way. For example, the discussion about service in the council. What it means to give service, what it means to give a present, to give somebody. It was so a very important discussion die wir da hatten. So in the end, after this, I said, okay, I create the organization as a European Art Service Association. I can create rent an artist, so people can rent me. In this way, people come, that some artists from Switzerland send me a letter, I have a problem with the gallery in German, what can I do? And in this moment, Art Service Association was from one moment to the next, notar? An Anwalt, yeah.
Lawyer.
Yeah.
So I write letters, lawyer letters to the gallery. What is happening with this artist want to have back his materials? And they write me back, oh no, it's okay, okay, we make it very shortly. In 10 days, the artist should have this. When not, we have to find a stronger way. And he got this material back. To make this as Art Service Association. In the Assembly was also clear what it means, also art service, how to organize, to bring performance in different fields. And it means also in this moment not only performance to make your ego to make was nice, also to thinking about this. What is the background for this and why you make this and this action there and there. So and then years by years organized other performance art in NRW, but it was so less in the early 90s. So as you have to bring it, to organize, and then I bring it together, the towns Essen and Düsseldorf and Köln, to bring the organization to work. Das heißt, when I speak all times, it is not right. it was how to bring the people together to work with me or I work with them. Every time, or to make 15 conferences, performance art conference. It was also to have a discussion with artists in different countries, with different organizations, and we find a theme which was interesting, and then they said, okay, when this theme is interesting, we make a conference and invite people worldwide. For example, we had done in Vietnam a conference, and it was for them so very good to get, I think we invited around 8 artists, which, from my feeling, good performer, good theory, good pedagogic, all this coming together and make a conference with Vietnamese young artists and to give them material, to give art services. And I had a super good feeling after the council, so now I have to go. And from most of the other artists in the council disappear, most of them in the galleries, museum, very important artists somewhere. But it's not for me, it was interesting to do this.
And I think it's a similar movement I'm imagining, because when you said about this reorganization of the archive and to find a good neighborhood, I was thinking that a person, an artist is, but every person is more than one things simultaneously, no? So you should find a place where, like many places for each person. And it's the same, in my mind, is the same way how you were working after this council with finding this direction and things that never stop, never end. Like you cannot put a person in one spot and let the person there long time, because then the person needs to move in another house with another neighborhood, and to find a way to always make this like a organic body that is always shifting, and it's difficult to organize as physically, but maybe yes, like theoretically, for me fit more with the persons that are not object.
The archive is soccer basement. And to working with the people together, worldwide, to go from festival to festival, invite people, come, looks like kids here. That is the real work. In the end, we have nothing. No?
It's just.
But it's good to have a little bit this. It's not so bad. Not okay. But it's what I learned, a real bubble. Very strong, very hard, but it's a bubble. The other looks like a bubble, but this is really what we can do together. To come, I like to work together.
And that's the problem we are having now, because it's your term, the living archive. It's not only the material, so the living of the archive. So we're trying to find institutions who support us and to make it public. So the Museum Library of Cologne, you can find and research our materials there, and to invite people like now to make such things, to stay in touch. And I think that's the most interesting point of that archive, and the important thing, not only to be somewhere in a storage and you can go there and research, so to give new problems and new questions.
What I learned is, I give this the name I gave die Rote Königin, the red queen from the Alice Behind the Mirror. In the book exists the red queen, and she said a wonderful sentence, and this sentence is, how quick you have to run to stay. And I like this. That's what I mean with this, all this. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting also what was said before about the artists and the different terms, if I like understand it right, or maybe I'm going further already. That how you, because you have an archive and like you give things a certain name, but also I don't know, in a contemporary art context, like names change and terms also get different meanings or different associations. Like, is there because it's also living archive? Is it like something? Is the living implicated in the like big bubble, or also in the basement, that you like, I don't know, maybe remove the tags and like make a new category or a new name tag?
But then the context is the whole. That's why my friend said, okay, we can make a diagram about this. The context of this is, I don't make a new things. I have only these possibilities to take all the things exist in a system to how to look to this. That is what I mean. It is a system to look to this. That's what I mean. It's a bubble of.
Of course, the basement is changing because new topics are coming in, so it's not fixed here. It's always like you ask for the living. Not only above is living, also the archive is living itself, because I mean, like you said, new arts are coming in, or new persons, or a new term is coming in, and suddenly it's interesting, and you think, okay, it might fix to this. So, and Boris is collecting material, and then when you want to put it somewhere, you noticed, oh, something is missing, so you open a new box and a new term, and so it is. The basement is living and the above is living. Yes.
And the people are bringing new terms.
Yes, that's what I want
So
to
that's
say.
very important. A colleague is more in sound art, and she has another knowledge, and so it's very important to get new knowledge, new labels, new words. And the box, I like the box because you can put something inside, and you can put more inside and more inside, so the inside of the box, it's not only the label, the inside of the box is growing, and there's another history. So when I open a box here, I see different things in one box, and it's not so strict like a book.
Yeah.
So you have a book in the box. You have a lot of books in the boxes, but they are part of the term.
Yeah.
So for the purpose of the archive, does the term change, or is it just an addition so that you can see the history of the movement even within terms?
It's not addition, not changing. It's really rare that Boris or I never did it to cross out a box.
Yeah.
And no, it's
so
staying. It's just coming above or changing, but.
Because otherwise you
won't
could be
anything.
changing
Yeah.
every year, every day, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, maybe
I was reminded by Tomasz last time when he was here. The first thing he did, because it's a for performance archive, right? For performers and by performers. So he went through the boxes and looking and finding, oh, is something missing? And so I think it could also, like, people are coming here. People look at it, and then discussions start. So there could be new boxes. There could be other names. There could be other terms. So.
Me as an art historian and researcher, I'm very familiar with archives, and I have to love them, and I love them because you find history there, and you find something that nobody has published, but it's another point of view. I think my point of view is another point of view as an artist. So what means an archive for your work, or Monika, you know it for a long time now, that there is an archive. You know Boris for a longer time, or Antoni. What's your performer thinking about that? Because ephemera and words with performance art, often it's one moment and it's gone then, and performance is an Ereignis.
Personally, really personally, I am very much in I'm very much in the just moment, and hard time sending my stuff. I have a hard time doing that. I don't really believe in the future anyway, and you know, I mean, this Earth is not going to keep us here for very much longer. So personally, but I really understand why it is important anyway, and I'm super interested in. Yeah, I mean, I find it very, very, very important that this is being done. It's just that mine is going somewhere else.
Okay.
Bubble. Real bubble is
A
this.
very big bubble.
That's a big. It's like when you see those diagrams of the Earth, you know.
Oh yeah.
And you've got the core and then the.
Well, we had a big discussion with my friend to leave this empty or not. This,
Okay.
and we say, I was really fighting for this, that we leave it empty. Then, from the big, really inner feeling, when I look to a performance, I look without any interpretation or things. So I see some things. Something's going on. I see it. And it exists a kind of Berührung.
Touching?
Yeah,
Encounter?
Exists some, what I can see together.
Touch.
And I mean the energy of this was the
Oh, it's like
inside,
visceral kind
so,
of.
yeah. When the observer and the performer in this moment, in the same energy
Yeah.
movement, it is free of interpretation. It is free of any definition. And then coming the first step, and this is a human step, we are not free. This is a mistake to say we're free. And this is what we make from here to here. Performance as theater, performance as memory theater, performance as a handlungsvolle therapeutic praxis, catharsis, performance as ritual, performance as mimesis, performance as social praxis, performance as integration, performance as a process, and so on. So this is, we have this view. When I'm a psychiater, and I have the theory full of psychological phenomena in my head. And then when I look at the performance, most of them say, I'm interested in it or not. It's interesting when I see psychological phenomena. And so this was clear to define it. We are not free, so we have some my profession, my way of living, my interested in the world is this. And then when you looked at this, okay, when you have here is a memory theater, storytelling. And then comes the name, ne? Martin Madison. We have 400 theorists, 160 definitions. Then the rest is away from praxis, then the view of the praxis, theoretical view, and then you can see here literature. No? And that is in context, but you can use it or not. But in the question of what we like is, it is not a fairy tale. Full of the books, my thinking about performance is, and it's coming, my grandmother, and then I have a car accident and so on. This is a real practical way to have an overview, and not more.
But also, in a way, like everything always, it's also personal. It's your kind of association.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not trying to be
Universal.
universal, objective. It's your way,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
part of it.
That's why it's so interesting to try and to try and do something like this, you know, to try and bring it out almost like a bird's eye view and have all these connections, and because it is so personal, you know, it's like almost a way of trying to contain a practice, you know, with a history and a whole and a context, and then it comes right down to individuals, you know, and that's shifting all the time. I find this very overwhelming. I'm like, I need to learn all of this and understand all of this. I need hours, and I need to learn German.
I think it exists in English. You can find it online and it's for free.
And all these different terms again refer to a smaller narrative because you have the names and right? Yeah. So this I find quite, I don't know, I quite like these archives that come more from this narrative than this like big amount of data that's kind of in the shelves, because the narrative can have a look into different kind of history than this thing that thinks it's universal, but it's like not, because it was also created by some kind of system.
Pretending to be objective.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing is it can be always extended, so it's like this living archive in that sense. You know, the literature is from a certain time, and it goes on and on and on to make these relations.
But the people are afraid about the work.
Yes.
And in China, people say, we want to have it, and that is very easy. You get the digital way, and you can make the tuck, and then you have the service standing here. You can translate it in Chinese.
And you can find new terms.
Yeah,
and new sites, and new artists,
Yes.
because that is the knowledge of this archive, or the Western archive, built up in Germany.
So
Because
this
maybe a
could be
Chinese
like
archive.
The first structure.
Yeah, because this is obviously Western, so if this was Eastern, maybe the things would shift, you know, or the placement would be different depending on their history, or maybe some is missing or omitting, or...
Or the terms.
And other artists, I think.
terms,
part
other
of
artists.
the way of connecting things also.
And is it a tool?
A tool, yeah. It is only a tool, not more. It is not a manifesto or anything what it means. It should be. No, it's only a tool. You can use it or not, no?
Yeah.
And you can always use it in your own way.
Yeah.
It depends how you are. It's quite, this way is universal, not in the way of maybe defining things.
And we are waiting now more than 20 years, or more 18 years. Somebody will translate it in Spain or French or so on. No? But it doesn't, nobody do this.
Translating and working on.
Working on it. But in the English way, people work on this.
Yeah.
A lot of people at the universities and around the world have this.
But I mean, that's the thing, maybe, you know, many universities now everywhere teaching English. So maybe the English...
It's not the language question.
Yeah.
But this is also a product in the thinking about Wittgenstein. But the basic sentence from his language is a question how you use it. This is nothing to say it is something, it looks like God or something. No, it's only a tool for how you use it. That is...
Another sentence I only know it in Germany, alles was der Fall ist.
Alles,
What is performance art? Alles was der Fall ist. Everything what's there.
Which is the case, you would say,
it's the case.
but it's not. Doesn't mean the same thing anymore.
Alles what is part of, or what's in the world, so the cases.
You also, when you were talking, you used the word performer. To me, it's really important that we always say performance artist.
Yes, you're
Because performer in English,
Yes,
reading
yes,
English,
yes.
is somebody who
Yes.
interprets something, and that's what we aren't.
Yes, yes. You're absolutely right.
And I think we really need to all take care that we don't use that term.
Yes.
That we don't, that we always use performance
art.
artist and
Yes.
performance art.
Yes. So
Because
it's not a
such a
performance
difficult
archive.
term, performance
Yes.
even.
The
And in
second
English,
thing,
really correctly, performer is an interpreter.
Yeah.
Somebody who interprets something,
Yes.
which is not what we
The
are.
opposite.
And
Yeah.
so it seems important to me that we all take care to
yes.
keep.
No, it's good, it's
People
good,
with
it's
that,
good,
but-
it's good.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sometimes a performer when
Yeah.
I work for someone else.
Yeah, okay, but then
Then,
make, you
yeah,
make the
yeah.
difference if you're the author of the piece or
Exactly,
if
yeah.
you're not the author
Yeah.
of the piece. Yeah.
Mm.